Last night, big game in the NBA. The Utah Jazz, who are playing phenomenal basketball. They've won 22 of 24 now, 11 of 12, I believe. And they met the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, of course, it must be said, the Lakers don't have their second and third best players, Anthony Davis and Dennis Schroeder, but they do have LeBron James. And so the Lakers were, on a 3-game skid. They had lost 4 or 5, so people were looking at this as, okay, the Lakers going to right themselves. And instead, they got walloped. 25 points to be exact. Utah led by as many as 29. It was over somewhere in the second quarter, and the Jazz just never let up. Now the Lakers have lost 4 straight, 5 of 6. And Rob, since Anthony Davis went down, and he went down so early in the Denver game, 14 minutes he had played, that you can really include that game as being without him. That's when their losing streak, or not streak, because they did get 1 win, but that's when their losing began. And they have lost 5 of 6 without Anthony Davis. Your thoughts on what this means for LeBron James? Now, there's been a lot of talk that he, was in the lead for the MVP race. And wow, for LeBron to win the MVP in his 18th year would be incredible. Nobody's ever done that this late in their career. He's scoring more than anybody ever has at this stage of their career. We had one caller even call up, Rob, and say if LeBron wins this year's MVP, that makes him the GOAT, which we shot down with the quickness. But what let's go there to the MVP race. What do you think this means for him?
LeBron has lost the MVP during this stretch to me.
Period.
I don't think there's any way he can win it back. I think he's lost the MVP, and despite who's out, who's not playing, none of that really matters because it's all about optics. And here's why I don't think he can win it. Because Anthony Davis is out and they're losing. So if Anthony Davis returns and they start winning, Chris, Anthony Davis is going to be the guy who gets that consideration that he turned the Lakers around because they were struggling without him. He came back, and now they're winning, and now they're in the hunt again. It won't be LeBron. That's why I think LeBron had a great shot, Chris.
Right.
When he was hurt, Anthony Davis, had they held it together and won, then you can make that argument for LeBron. Do you see what I'm saying? You won't be able to make that MVP argument for LeBron once Anthony Davis comes back and they're whole and they start winning. It'll be like, that'll be the narrative. LeBron needs Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis last year led the team in every category except for assists. And if he comes back and they turn it around and start winning, he'll get all the credit, not LeBron, despite the injuries, which we all know. There's just an optics here that doesn't look good. It looks like Anthony Davis is missed sorely. And not only are they losing, they can't beat anybody. That's what it feels like. Do you know what I mean?
They lost to Washington.
Yeah.
They lost to a Miami team that's
been struggling all year for the most part.
Right.
So that's why I think LeBron has lost the MVP during this rough patch. I know it sounds crazy for it to be 4 games or 6 games or whatever it is, but you remember 2 weeks ago we said he was leading, right? He was the guy.
Right. Yeah, I here's what I say about it. He's lost his lead. As you said, 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago,
yep.
We and many others were saying that he's in the lead. Joel Embiid's close, but LeBron is in the league, and I'm sure we talked about it.
So
right,
you could
right,
imagine,
right. And you and I talked about it. It was like this stretch before the All-Star break. It was like 9 games without AD. This is going to LeBron can either increase that lead or he will come back to the pack. So I'm not going to go quite as far as you and say it's over for him, but he's back in the pack. I think Joel Embiid is the leader right now. I think James Harden, Rob, we talked about it, he's gathering steam. I mentioned it a few days ago that, look, this guy's got to be in the discussion. Now you're seeing Paul Pierce talk about it, Stephen A. Others are starting to recognize that Harden's got to be in
out.
this.
How can you
he's
not
playing
look
the best in the league. He is playing the best in the league.
Wake me up when the Nets lose a game, because all they do, Chris, has been winning of late, right? That's all they do is win.
Here's the thing, too, Rob, and you and I have talked about this. Usually, guys who play with other stars, it can work against them. We saw it with Shaq and Kobe. They each
Normally,
only won
they
one,
X
which
each
is
other
incredible.
Out. Right.
Yeah, right. But LeBron has won 4 MVPs. 2 of them, Rob, he won in Miami, playing with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. So, and I think he deserved them. I don't have any problem with him winning them, but I'm just saying it's not a totally black and white. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, he's got Durant, Kyrie, there's no way he can win it. Or Durant's got Harden and Kyrie, there's no way he can win. No, there's a way. Magic won them with Kareem, and Kareem won it Magic's rookie year. So it can happen. And so Harden's very much in the race. Here's the only reason I'm not going to go quite as far as you. As you said, there's 40 games left. So a lot can happen. Maybe LeBron, maybe AD gets hurt again or comes back later than usual, and the Lakers right the ship and LeBron goes on a tear and they win. Now, they still have 3 games before the All-Star break. I'm sorry, 4. And 3 of them are against, good teams, Portland, Golden State, and Phoenix. So those are 3 playoff teams right now. If the Lakers win those 3, let's say they beat Sacramento too. So say they win these 4 straight before the break. And LeBron obviously would have to play well for them to do that. I think that could help. That'll help him. Now, I'm not saying it'll put him back in the lead, but I think that'll help him. And Rob, you know this. I'm not into the narrative. I try not to let a narrative determine my vote. But some people do. And Rob, and you see it. Like, I don't think, like you mentioned the how it looks, the optics, and I agree with you. It's like AD went down and they started
apart.
Losing.
Right. And then if he comes back and they start winning, it'll be like AD is really the engine. Look what happened. Right. I mean, that'll be what it looks like. But do you see that? I hear you, and I think you're right, but I don't see this clamor of people saying that. You know what I mean? I don't see. No,
it's
not
almost
yet.
like
Not
I think
yet.
right now, I do feel like there is a strong push, kind of within the media and all this, to get LeBron this MVP. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. The talk was out there. Yeah, but I don't think that I don't know how
you're not
anybody.
Going to be ridiculous, right?
I don't know how anybody could have that talk now. Is what I'm saying. I think this was Chris his moment, and all I'm saying, they didn't have to win every game. But if they kept this together without AD, you know what I mean? That would have strengthened his command on it, where you would have been like, man,
he
AD went down.
He would have, yeah.
Right? And they're still winning. Look at what LeBron's doing. And now not only not winning, they're not beating bad teams. That's what hurts his narrative.
Yeah, and look, it could get better for him, as I said.
Or it could get worse.
Or it could get worse. Like if
they lose these 4, Chris, what happens if they lose these 4 going into the
If they lose these 4 or 3 of the 4, then you might be right. There's still a lot of games we play. Here's another thing, though, that is helping LeBron. This is an odd year, Rob, for MVP. Like, let's go to Philadelphia. You got Joel Embiid. He's playing great. He might be the leader right now. But he's missed 6-7 games. And is he going to miss? What if he misses 20 games out of 72? That could work against him. You got Kawhi Leonard, same situation. What if Kawhi misses 20 games? Brooklyn, okay, if Harden misses some games or if Durant comes back and he's clearly carrying the team, that could hurt Harden's chances. Milwaukee's just not winning enough. Giannis isn't even really in the discussion. Utah doesn't have somebody in the discussion. Portland, Damian Lillard, they're not really winning enough. Steph's not winning enough. Jokic, who's playing tremendous individually, not winning enough. Now, granted, some of those teams could run off with a tear in the second half, which might help them. But you know what I'm saying? Like, Luka was my preseason pick, and I think a lot of people's, they're not even in the playoffs. So those are things that could help LeBron. Like, there's really no, other than Embiid, and again, he's got the missed games, and he's always, prone to sit out here or there with injuries. there's really no one running away like Giannis did last year. You know what I'm saying?
But LeBron's this stretch, this really bad patch, and anything, Chris, after when AD comes back, that's really it. Now you can't look at it and go, well, they come back and they're struggling and they're not winning. Then LeBron's not going to win the MVP. Do you know what I mean? And if they come back and they start playing well, the optics are going to be about, no matter what the numbers are, that they needed AD to win. And AD's gotten the Lakers back to where they needed to, and then people will talk about how well he played last year and how he wasn't injured and his numbers. You know what I just think this hurts him. The only way this would have benefited him is if they would have kept winning without AD, and then the case for him would have been ultra strong, Chris, for an MVP.
Well, and to your point, remember, we've talked about how AD has been disappointing this year. You even think he shouldn't have made the All-Star team. I don't go that far, but, he hasn't been himself. So what if he comes back and he's averaging 28 and 12? And, you know what I mean? Like, he's playing at an MVP level. Then, to your point, it really becomes – that's really where it would become just completely – you almost – if he comes back and he's playing like their best player – and then they start winning.
There's no way
again.
LeBron's going to win it. That's what I'm saying.
That's going to be hard. That's going to be hard. So it's interesting. And you said you're writing a column about this tomorrow on Deadspin.
Yeah, I think it's done. I think he lost the MVP.
We will check that out. Who's your leader right now?
It's probably you know what? I'm going to go outside the box. I think it's James Harden.
Okay.
I really do. And you know what? I think, Chris, he has a chance because I think the Nets are only going to get better as you go on. I looked at the box score. Durant's not playing tonight.
No.
Okay, so I'm looking for. They've only played 7 games together. When they get those last 30 games and they're together and whatnot, they're winning now. Can you just? I just think that they're going to get better, and Harden is going to have a chance to put up even better numbers and do with another guy like Durant out there, Chris, to throw the ball to.
There's no question they're going to get better.
They're going to get better.
There's any question.
Right.
His numbers, at least the points, may go down a little bit.
But as a playmaker and all the other stuff that he's doing.
And for him, Rob, I mean, look, I knew, and a lot of people knew how great he was. Heck, everybody, he was already an all-time great based on what he did in Houston. But good for him. You know, you watched the game closely. You knew he had these skills. You knew he could pass. He was a great playmaker and all that. But he's really getting to show it. And, Rob, we haven't seen many players do this type of thing. Like, for 8 years, you show that you are one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen. And then, who knows how long he does this in Brooklyn. Let's say it's a 5-year stretch where he shows that he's the premier playmaker in the league, premier assist guy in the league.
Right.
It is, and especially if they win some championships, and it's getting to the point,
wide
Rob,
open for him. It's wide open because if this thing takes off and they run off a couple of championships and he plays and he gets an MVP, I mean, it changes your whole idea and perception of James Harden.
Totally. And you can't hold, people want to, like even Durant, people, well, if they win it now, he didn't really get rid of the Golden State narrative. We got to I get it, but Rob, everybody's joining forces.
No,
it ain't like it's
I
just
always
Durant.
say it's different though because he was traded.
This is more like Miami
traded.
Too.
Yes, but he was traded, and they had to give up to get him. They gave up some good players. It's a little different. That's all.
Yeah, it's not Golden State. It's like I said, it's more like Miami, I think. But you don't hold Miami against LeBron. It's hard. You can't hold this against Durant if they win it, or Harden, or Kyrie. So you guys agree with Rob or disagree that LeBron, he might win a championship this year, but according to Rob, his MVP hopes are dashed.
All right, 877-99 on Fox. Let's kick it off with Arthur in Charleston, South Carolina. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Arthur?
What's up, fellas?
What's up, bro?
You know what I'm saying? How you doing, man? I'm just disagreeing with Rob, man. You know what I'm saying? Would y'all feel the same way if James Harden didn't have KD or Kyrie and they lost games? Would you hold it against Joel Embiid if he didn't have Tobias or Ben Simmons? I mean,
Arthur,
You know what
I'm
I'm
not
saying?
holding it.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it does come into play. It's not holding it against somebody. It's just a factor.
Right.
It
If they
always
lose
comes
10,
into
if they
play.
lose 10 games in a row, he's going to be the MVP, Arthur? Answer me that.
I
They
mean,
lose, no, I'm asking you. No, I'm asking you. If LeBron plays and they lose 10 out of 11, you think he's going to win the MVP? Honestly, just give me your honest answer.
At the end of the season, if the numbers speak for itself and they make the playoffs, I see a top
Well,
three
make
seed,
the playoffs.
absolutely.
Hold on. It ain't just about making the playoffs.
Come on, man. Ain't nobody losing 10 out of 11 going to be the MVP.
Let me share something with Arthur. Since 1981, okay, that's when the media started voting for MVP. There have been 2 players to win the award with 50 or fewer wins in a regular full season. And that was Moses Malone in 1982, which was one of the first years. And then Russell Westbrook, because he was the first player in, 50, 60 years to get a triple-double for a season. Other than that, that's it. Westbrook would not, Rob, if Westbrook had averaged 9.9 assists.
And didn't get, he wouldn't have won the MVP.
He wouldn't have won it. So, look, I'm not with Rob as far as LeBron has no chance anymore. But, yeah, this is a factor. And it would have been held, Rob. It would be held against Embiid.
Everybody.
It would be held against Harden, Durant.
Yes.
This is not just a LeBron thing.
Aaron in Virginia, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Aaron?
Hello, how you doing?
Doing good.
Brother.
Yeah,
How
I
are
want
you?
to say, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I just want to say, straight up, I just think nobody looked at the fact that Schroeder was out too. Schroeder was the one who was also was one of his best years. He was averaging 14 points. And Anthony Davis, you lose to your top 2, your top 3 players, you're going to lose games, but they're going to get it together. You just got to give him time. And obviously, if you lose 10 games straight, you're not going to hit it. But if he wins 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10, I think he still would be in there.
All right. I'm just saying, with the way things are going, I think Anthony Davis, when he gets back, is going to get the credit for coming back and turning the tide. That's all I'm saying, because he's the missing piece. So I think that winds up helping him. That's all I'm saying. It's an optics kind of thing. When Anthony Davis was out, and I get his shooters out as well, but it's about Anthony Davis.
Right.
It is.
Right.
And that's what people are looking at. And if Anthony Davis comes back and the Lakers right their ship, they're going to say that AD came and he was the big part on why things turned around. Max in Georgia, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Max?
Hey, appreciate it, fellas, and shout out to Rob G. Thank you for getting me on. For me, this is real clear and cut. I mean, the guy has 10 games without his star, the best player on the team. He's already lost 5 games without him, right? So I think it's already a 500 situation, which is very usual for LeBron. He knows about that. I mean, that's about as good as it's going to get for LeBron. Having said that, I mean, you lost to Washington.
What is that? I don't get that, Max. Come on.
I mean, LeBron, that's what he does.
That's as good as it
That
gets.
situation's 500. The guy doesn't take over
the
games.
guy with
he
4
doesn't cause
championships.
outcomes.
He doesn't take over game. What? Max.
Chris,
come on.
Here's the thing.
Rob wouldn't
let me
even
ask
go
you a
that
question.
far, man. Come on.
Chris,
This is ridiculous.
What's LeBron's best game ever? What's his best game ever in your opinion?
Boston, Game 7.
Agreed.
All right. He didn't change that
Agreed.
outcome? He didn't force that?
But who did he look like in that game? He looked like the best ever. He looked like Mike.
Oh, that's
He's never
fine,
been able to
but
do
I'm
that.
just saying, you're going to sit
in his
here
career ever.
and say LeBron doesn't impact games? That clouds everything you say afterwards, because people are like, oh, my gosh, this dude don't know what he's talking about. Come on, Max. You're better than that.